In today's Webflow tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create the landing page for this project. The landing page is basically the first thing that appears when your website is loaded. In this example, we notice that we have the main image of the guitar player followed by a little call to action. And if you click on tour dates, for example, it will scroll down to the tour dates area. In order to get the main image for this website, we're going to go to pexels.com. Pexels.com is a resource to get free stock photos and videos. Now, if you don't wish to download the image, that's perfectly fine. All you have to do is just take a screenshot. If you're using Firefox, for example, you could just right-click the image, click Open Image in New Tab. On the new tab that just opened, simply right-click and click on Take Screenshot. All you have to do is select the image and click on the blue download button, and it will be on your computer. Now that we have the image, what we're going to do is upload it to Webflow. Click on the Assets button, and within the Assets button, you have one of two options to upload your image. You can use drag and drop or click the Upload button right there. What I prefer to do is use the drag and drop method. And there you go, it's that simple. With the image uploaded, we're going to set up a div block to place the image onto. So what we're going to do is go ahead to the Elements panel. So we're going to go to Add Elements. And what we're going to do is you can use the search bar. I'm going to type in div block, and div block is right there. And now that we have the div block on the body of the website, so what we're going to do is open this navigator right here. And by default, body is always going to be there. The body is part of the website, and that's just going to be default. And within the body, there's the div block. What we're going to do is give the div block a class, and what a class does, just in very layman's terms, we're just giving it a class to help us organize the elements and also the style that we're using for specific elements within Webflow. So go ahead and just on the style panel, which is right here, we're going to click on this text block, and we're going to give it the class name landing, and then press enter. If you notice, the word landing is here and it's also here. Perfect. Now we're on to the next step, which is to add the actual image. What we're going to do is click on the Add Elements button, and when the Elements is open on the search bar, go ahead and type the word image. There we go. Click the image. On the image settings panel, we're going to click Replace Image and click on what we just have in the Assets panel right here. So with the type right here, we're going to set it from lazy to eager. And what eager means is when the website loads, the image would load alongside with it. With that all set up, what we're going to do is click on the exit icon right here on the image settings. If you notice on the size panel, the image is set to the maximum width of 100%. What we're going to do is just click on the percent symbol, and then we're going to click none. So what we're going to do now is set the actual width right here to 100% and hit enter. The next thing we're going to do is go to the navigator and make sure image is selected, which it is. And we're going to change the class from image to landing-img, landing image. The next thing we're going to do is add some text to the front of this image. And by doing that, it'll just create that call to action. What we're going to do is on the Add Elements button right here, just click that. And on the search bar, we're going to type in div block. And then click on the div block. click on the navigator and make sure the div block is selected, which it is. So what we're going to do is name the div block CTA, which is short for call to action, and then hit enter. And for the settings, what we're going to do is on the style area right here, scroll down to where you see position, and we're going to click this drop down. It says static by default, but click the drop down and we're going to set it to absolute. And what we're going to do is notice here top, left, right, and bottom. What we're going to do is utilize percentages. So click on the top right here and type in 20% and hit enter. And on the right side, click it, and we're going to set it to 0%. Okay. If you notice the CTA block, actually what we're going to do is, you can notice it right here, but we're going to set the background of the CTA to black. So let's scroll down. So from position, scroll down to backgrounds. And remember in our previous video, we set up the color palette through the variable. So hover over the color window, and you can see that purple button. Click the purple button. And we're going to set it to black right here. Okay, that's set. Now, what we're going to do, well, let me just give you a short explanation. This block is 20% down this way, and the 0% makes sure that it stays on the right side of the screen. Okay, so what we're going to do is with CTA selected, we're going to click on the, you know what, we're not going to use the add elements. I'm going to show you how to add another element. Okay, so if you're using Windows, it's Control E, but if you're on a Mac, it's Command E. And if you notice, you're going to see a search bar popping up. I'm going to click away real quick, and I'm going to do Control E, and you're going to see this search bar show up. So this is another way to show the elements panel. Well, you know, this is just a faster way to find your elements. Excuse me. I'm going to type in text block. And if you notice, text block is right there. So I'm going to go ahead and click on text block. And if you notice, it's kind of hard to read. So what I'm going to do is make sure text block is selected. And I'm going to type in landing dash txt, which is landing text, and then hit enter. Okay. Now I'm going to scroll down and to typography, which is controlling how this is going to look on our web page. I'm going to set the color to white, and what we can do is, again, look for the color. It's set to grayish black. Click the purple button, and we're going to set it to white. Make sure your variables are selected and set it to white. I'm going to set the size to 30, font size to 30, and the height, I'm going to set it to 30 as well. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to change it. It says this is some text inside of a div block. So what we're going to do is go from the Style tab, and we're going to go to the Settings element. So click on the Settings element. And what we're going to do is look for text block settings. And if you notice there's a text block and it says here, you know, this is some text inside of a, you know, blah, blah, blah. We're going to take that off. I'm going to write the name of the guitar player, which is Jeff Somerset right there. And again, this is a made-up guitarist. I don't even think his name is Jeff. I just made it up. Okay, so Jeff Somerset, I put a comma, and I'm going to hit enter to start another sentence. So enter guitar soloist. And I'm not going to add a period. That's perfectly fine. Okay, I'm happy with how this looks. So I'm going to go from settings back to style. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add padding to the text block itself. And padding just adds a little extra space. I'm going to show you how it works. So with the style tab selected, go to spacing, and you see where it says here padding. On the top part, I'm going to hit the number 1. No, press the number 1. I'm going to type in REM. There's no space. The number 1, and type in rem, R-E-M, and hit enter. And I'm going to repeat that same thing right here. So click on the right padding and then 1, R-E-M, again, no spaces, hit enter. I'm going to repeat. So by setting the padding, I made sure there was more breathing room so that way you can see the box a little bit better. Okay, there we go. That's set. That's great. That looks fantastic. And you know what? Maybe for the height, I can change it to 35. How does that look? Yeah, 35. That's not bad. I'll just leave it like that. Okay, so landing text is set right there. So what I'm going to do now is set up a link block, and what the link block does is it's going to allow us to do that scrolling effect. Okay, so I'm going to hit the CTA class. So CTA class, make sure it's selected, and it is. I'm going to do the shortcut command Control E or Command E on a Mac, and I'm going to type in link block right here, link block. And this is an important step right here. So for the width of the link block, I'm going to type in, so remember when we set up the 100%. So make sure link block is selected, make sure you're on the size area, and I'm going to type 100%. And if you notice, the block is taking up 100% of the CTA. Now then, what I'm going to do is set up the background to blue. What I'm going to do is on the backgrounds, on color, again, the purple icon, and we're going to go to blue, just blue right there. Click on it. Okay. And then the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to give this a class. I'm going to call it, let me see, rename it. I'm going to call it CTA link. Then the next thing we're going to do is with the CTA link selected, we're going to hit Control E. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in text block. Okay. And if you notice this, number one, we can't really see it, but there's an underline. Anytime you use the link block or the text block, there's always going to be an underline showing up. So let's fix that. We're going to click on CTA link, and we're going to make sure we click on none because we're not going to need the underline, and the underline is taken off. Now remember earlier in the video I was talking about classes and how you can repeat a class to repeat a certain style. So I'm going to do that right now. What I'm going to do is with the text block selected, I'm going to click on the style, the text block right here. I'm going to type in landing, landing text right there. And if I notice here, landing text is right there. I'm going to click on it, and then boom, it's repeating the same style as it was used earlier. Now, what I'm going to do is, again, with this landing text set up, I'm going to click on settings, and the text block settings, I'm going to type in tour dates. Okay. Now, when it comes to setting up the link for the tour dates, that's going to have to be for another video. But until then, this is exactly what we're going for. So what I'm going to do is just click on style and just leave it at that. And if you want, what we can do is set it from normal to bold. And if you notice, they both match up. And I'm going to set it to normal again. Watch what happens. See? Because the Jeff Somerset guitar soloist part and tour dates have the same class, it will allow me to save time by repeating the same thing.